Hello YouTube. This is the first edition of what I'm gonna call the Blockercast. It's a basic podcast. I think I'm gonna try and make this a regular thing. It's basically an unscripted video, kind of delving into what makes me me. These videos are generally gonna be long, like most podcasts. And, you know, I'm basically just gonna be telling stories about my life. There's gonna be little to no editing, and it's kind of just a way for me to talk to you. And if you have an idea for anything you want me to talk about on one of these, tell me. I mean, I might do a Q&A in one of these if anyone wants to. If anyone has any questions for me they want to ask, This is just kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I think for the first edition, I wanted to talk about how I actually got into anime. I mean, this channel is pretty much about nothing but anime, and I figured you guys would like to know how I got into it. Well, it's kind of a really long story. See, my childhood I was pretty much raised on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. I watched SpongeBob and Rugrats a lot back in the day. And then one day, or one summer, I just decided to stay up late and I discovered anime. I don't know, I always thought it looked really weird, a little bit different, a lot different actually than what was on what regular shows I watched. The drawings were a lot more detailed and didn't look as flat, I guess you'd say, as Western animation did. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I can't remember the first anime I saw because I can't remember that far back, but, it was when Cartoon Network or Tsunami or Adult Swim, that channel, I stayed up late to watch it, and I saw Ghost in the Shell, I think it was. It was really weird because a lot of the stuff I saw at the time wasn't very action oriented. In fact, I have to thank Adult Swim a lot. Because, they had a lot of really weird stuff on there. Or not weird, but they had a lot of good stuff on there. Stuff I really need to watch again. Cowboy Bebop. I think they also played the Big O. And Bobo Bobo. Shows I've seen a couple episodes of, but really need to get back into. Cowboy Bebop. That's a series I watched. That's a series I've gotten into recently. I watched it a lot. It's actually one of my favorites. But anyway. I just thought there were those weird looking cartoons that came on every now and then. I can honestly say that the first anime that I ever was really into, that I made a point to watch like every week, was YuGiOh. Yeah. I know YuGiOh gets a really bad rap for how goofy it is, especially with the dub. But, my cousin introduced me to YuGiOh. It was one of his favorite shows. He owned like a bunch of the cards. I played the card game with him, and I remember watching it every day when it came on. Then there was Dragon Ball Z. For Christmas one year, I got a video game called Dragon Ball Z Budokai for my PlayStation 2. It was pretty much my favorite game at the time, and every year I got the new Dragon Ball Z game, the new Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I kind of learned the story through the video games. I didn't really watch the show. I was introduced to most of the characters from the video games. And, I watched it almost every night. Well, after, I watched. And, I really wanted to check out the show, so I did. I watched Dragon Ball Z. And that was definitely one of my most influential anime I've seen in a while. And kind of funny story, you know how in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z with a year, when it's like a year after Raditz that Nappa and Vegeta arrive? Yeah, I thought I'd have to watch 365 episodes. Because there was so much filler. I mean, I thought I'd have to wait like a literal year in real life to see what happened. And, I'd tell all my friends at school what I was watching and describe Dragon Ball Z. They looked at me like I was nuts. It was pretty funny. It was kind of like my own little niche thing that nobody knew what I was talking about. Good times. Another anime I made a big point to watch was Pokemon. It came on like an hour before I was supposed to get up for school. I watched it. I remember watching the first episode and part where Ash sees that giant bird Pokemon, Ho-Oh I think its name, and they say they didn't have any information on it on his Pokedex. I don't know, that scene really stuck out to me for a long time. I don't know, just kind of amazed by it. I think I actually recorded an episode of it. It was the Jigglypuff episode. I watched it all the time. Yeah. I think the biggest influence, aside from Cartoon Network, of me getting into anime was, I don't know what it was called. It was like Toon's Eye or something. It was a block that 4Kids did. Yeah, it was whatever block that 4Kids did. It was like a local channel. And to be honest, I actually have to thank 4Kids for getting me into anime. Planting the seeds, kinda. Even though they get a really, really bad rap with all the editing and censoring they do, that was my jam back then. I mean, a lot of their dubbed anime I was really into. I loved YuGiOh, as I mentioned, Pokemon. I saw a few episodes of One Piece, but I unfortunately never really got into it. And I know I'm probably going to go to anime jail now for that, but I just couldn't really get into One Piece. And, as I grew up, I watched Naruto and Pokemon every day after school. I was introduced into that by a friend. I think I made a video about that before in my Anime Memories series. How I got into Naruto. But for a while, Naruto was the biggest thing for me. I watched it constantly. Every day it came on. I mean, it came on after school. I watched one episode of it and one episode of Pokemon. Not the original Pokemon, it was the one with Dawn. I don't know what it was called. There were so many darn series of that. There were so many different variations of that series, so... Naruto became like the biggest thing for me. I remember I actually bought a headband at the dollar store. And I'd play Ninja in the yard all the time. Good times. Unfortunately, after a while, like in 2008, Tsunami got canceled or I don't know when it was. I think it was 2008. I don't know, I was kind of young and I kind of just lost interest in anime. Even once I got internet, I never really had much interest in continuing to watch it anymore. Excuse me. In continuing to watch it anymore. So, that was kind of a dead period for me. I mean, I never really got into anything new back then. I would watch some of the older shows that I was already into. Like I bought the Dragon Ball Z Orange Bricks or whatever they're called. The big DVDs. I watched them like crazy. I also watched the original Dragon Ball on YouTube. There were times I'd binge watch, uh, you know, older series, but I just didn't really have a drive to watch anime anymore. Up until I was about 16, when I was 16, they brought Tsunami back. I watched it some, but it just didn't have the same spark as it did before. I'd try to watch it, but it always came on so late at night, and I didn't really have DVR to record anything. So that's just how it was for a while. I'd try and stay up and watch some, Tsunami. I actually really got into the Boondocks around this time. I really liked that series. And I kind of just didn't really get back into it. That wasn't until August 20th of 2016. You see, I got hurt. Really, really bad. This is a bit of a sad story. It might be kind of depressing to some of you. Kind of an account of a really bad struggle I had going on at this time. But, it got me back into anime. Which is good. Now, what happened was, it was a knee injury. I had a really bad knee injury. It was horrible. One of the worst experiences I've ever had to go through. But looking back, it made me stronger as a person. I'm going to get a little graphic with the details. And if you want more details about this injury, then I might do another blocker cast on it. Let me know if you're interested in that. But what happened was I slipped in water. I landed full force on my right knee. I fell so hard that I actually broke a chunk of the bone off. Because of that, I was practically bedridden for almost 3 months, in and out of hospitals. In fact, I was so bad off that I actually had to call the fire department to help me get out of the house from time to time. During that time, I became extremely depressed. I just couldn't really take care of myself. I couldn't go back to college. I couldn't work. I actually honestly contemplated taking my own life at one point. I just felt like such a huge burden on my family. I couldn't really find joy in anything anymore. At that point, I just found myself watching TV for all day, 24/7. And, we upgraded our package from a regular DirecTV to like the bundle, or not bundle, ones with DVR and on demand and everything. I didn't really have much of an interest on demand, mostly because I had really crappy Wi-Fi and didn't really want to go through the hassle of downloading a movie. But I was just flipping through them out of curiosity, and one caught my eye one day. It's called the Anime Network. It was called the Anime Network. I decided to check it out since it was free and it wasn't just a rehash of an already existing network. And since the seeds of an anime fan had already been kind of implanted in my brain, but since I didn't actively pursue watching anime until I checked out this network. There was a lot of pretty good shows, most of which I had never heard of before. I was like pretty much unfamiliar with everything there. Yeah, looking back, there was Wake Up Girls, Gate, High School of the Dead, and Strawberry Marshmallow, which became one of my favorites. There were more there, not a whole lot. There was like 10 series. I tried to watch one episode for each and get into all of them, but there were just others there I couldn't really get into. I think Berserk was one. Hayate the Combat Butler was another. But after a while, they started adding more shows. There was Girls in Panzer, Bakuan, not Bakugan, Bakuan with the motorcycles. But they only played one episode of it. And my second all-time favorite anime, Azumanga. I loved them all so much. Yeah. They also aired trailers and teasers for other anime, some of which never even actually got aired on the network. I remember seeing trailers for Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto and Tanaka-kun is Always Listless. But they never actually put them on the thing. It's kind of annoying because they looked really good in the trailer. But anyway, watching these, I don't know, I just felt happy watching them. And it made me look forward to every Monday when they'd update. And I know this may sound really weird, but it was one of the few joys I actually had at the time of that injury. It was really the only thing I ever looked forward to. My injury kept me bedridden, and all I really looked forward to every week was for the Anime Network to update. But the one show I looked forward to in particular was Strawberry Marshmallow. It was so cute. As it went on, I tended to skip over the action series and just focus more on the comedy, slice of life style shows. And as I watched these shows, I just felt happy. I loved all of them so much. And Strawberry Marshmallow holds a bit of a special place for me because it was, well, technically the second anime I decided to download. The first one I watched was High School of the Dead, and it was great. Don't get me wrong. I just felt more magic with Strawberry Marshmallow. I don't know why. Needless to say, it became one of my favorite anime. Now, I mean, all these shows were good, but Strawberry Marshmallow was just so much more special. Even today, I just have to watch the intro and I feel happy. It resonated with me more than the others. I love all the series on there, but anime helped me through a difficult time and it made me happy. I mean, I'd watch anime, and the more I did, the less I thought about how tragic things had become for me. I felt myself feeling more motivated to get through the physical therapy because, with all the rehab I had to get on my right knee, I just thought about feel-good scenes from my favorite anime and how I'd get to go home and watch it as soon as this was over. Now, I'll admit, I became a little obsessive with Medium. I just wanted to watch so much more. I really had no idea where to start, so I just looked up, free anime on YouTube, and I discovered a lot of good stuff that way. The very first one I saw on YouTube was Dami Dollar, Prince vs. Penguin Empire, which had a very clickbaity thumbnail, and the video was compressed in this tiny little square. I also saw Kiss Him Not Me through this, Mayo Cheeky. Of course, none of these were officially uploaded, just pirates and bootlegs. In fact, that's how I discovered other anime. The users who would upload these series would usually upload other series. For example, that's how I discovered one of my all-time favorites, Aisha Teruze Baby. And look that one up, it's a really good one. But, they were mostly just pirated and bootlegs. But there was one official company that produced anime and uploaded their own stuff. It was called Nozomi Entertainment, I believe. And one of the shows they uploaded was called Please Teacher. And, the premise, high school student dating his teacher, that caught my eye, like, right away. But, I didn't really like watching the stuff on YouTube because, they're always edited. Like, the pitch was always higher or lowered, or the video was, like, compressed into a tiny little square. And they didn't have Strawberry Marshmallow. Now, with Strawberry Marshmallow, I fell in love with the series, since it was so different. In fact, I discovered a site for watching anime that I can't really name, because it's technically a pirating site, and, But, I just couldn't wait for the weekly update. I had to see the rest of it. So I started watching them on this website. And what I'd do was, I created a My Anime List account, and any anime that I seen, I would add it to, I would look it up on My Anime List and look up the recommendations. They'll recommend you similar anime, and that's how I discovered a lot of good shows. Anytime I'd finish a show, I'd look up the suggestions from My Anime List, and my list grew at a frightening rate. I started looking at more shows, anime suggestion sites, the anime suggestion subreddit. I also started looking up lists of anime by genre. That's how I discovered one of my favorite anime. Another one of my favorite anime. I say that a lot. I can't understand what my husband is saying. That's like top 10 right there. Now, my list of anime to watch is incredibly long. Will I ever finish everything on there? Probably not. But during my injury, the night before physical therapy, I'd stay up late and watch anime. Anime honestly saved my life. I want to thank Strawberry Marshmallow and the Anime Network, because if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be here. I mean, I had such a passion for anime, I made this channel. I wanted to talk about anime. And back in those days, I would watch for like 5-6 hours, like every night before bed. Literally, I'd stay up till like 3 in the morning and go to bed at 11. Or stay up till 3 in the morning and then wake up at 11 in the morning. But, I haven't gotten... But, since I've healed, I'm not that bad anymore. Don't worry. I only watch anime for like, an hour or two a day. I try to fit at least 4 episodes in. Plus, I've started collecting manga and anime DVDs, joined Crunchyroll. Anime is still a part of my life. I think about it when I'm, down. But, I still watch it. I still watch Strawberry Marshmallow from time to time. Yeah. So, that's it. That is my history with anime. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you want to hear more of these. And this has been the Blockernator. I'll see you next time.